Hey everybody, welcome to the wonderful world of Indiana Jones and the Last what? We are on a math channel. Yes, you must learn about math, which means we're going to learn about pyramids, surface area, and volume. Get out all your Indiana Jones fedoras and whips and watch out for the snakes. Here we go. Are you an Indiana Jones fan? When I was a kid, I loved watching Indiana Jones. And actually, I found the very first Indiana Jones quite scary, actually, especially near the end. But my favorite one was Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Temple of Doom is just a horrendous movie. But Indiana Jones, that's what we're going to be talking about today. And we're talking about Indiana Jones. What we're really talking about is pyramids. I guess today's version of Indiana Jones is really Tomb Raider. So Lara Croft. And it's always interesting to see because when I was a kid, I played Tomb Raider, the video game. And then it became a movie with Angelina Jolie and became quite famous and that kind of stuff. And they just rebooted it, actually. Kind of dating myself, how old I am. But yeah, that's what we're kind of looking at today. Let's draw one. I love drawing one. Okay, so there's a couple of different kind of pyramids you have. You have basically square pyramids. So there's two types. One is going to be a square, which is easier. And number two is evil. It's called rectangles. Because it requires more math. Okay, so let's get to it. How do you draw them? First, you draw a rhombus. Okay, so what color should I get? Yellow. That seems pyramidy. Maybe like sandy, right? Pyramids are kind of sandy. So you're going to draw a rhombus. And make it obvious. Like, see, there we go. And then you're going to put a dot way up here. It's kind of past the halfway point of this line. Okay? Then you're going to connect it to all four corners. That's all there is to it. So you're going to connect it to this corner. You're going to connect it to this corner. You're going to connect it to this corner and this corner. Now you got a pyramid. Now, you've seen lots of my videos. I like to have little dotted things. So you also need to have a dot in the middle of this rhombus. And you want to go straight up. That's a horrible straight line. And that, of course, is your height. There are things that you are going to need to know. So that is your height. The other words you will need to know that I'm going to use often is you're going to need to know your edge. So your edges are those lines that you just did. So those are your edges. Okay. So all of these were your edges. I really should have had these in all different colors, right? And there's one other thing that you need to know is your slant height. This one. That's your slant height. I'm going to draw that one in 2 dimensions using the colors I just used to try and make it very obvious what it is. So it kind of looks like this. That was your slant height. Did you see it? Did you see how that is now? Okay. And the last thing that you need to know, of course, is going to be, I guess, no, you don't even need to know. But see that actual rhombus that you started drawing? That's kind of like your base. That's your base. Okay, I guess, should we say that? Sure. So this part here is like your base. A lot of colors, wasn't it? So that's kind of like your base. We're talking about surface area, so that's kind of the different parts. So surface area is, so you're going to open it up. Now it depends on what kind of pyramid you have. If you have a square pyramid, it's going to be super easy because you're just going to get basically a square as your base, and you're going to get 4 awesome triangles. Right? So if this was a square, so if I did this, this would say that this is a square, right? But if you have a rectangular pyramid, or you can have a triangular pyramid too. You have those too as well. I never do questions with those ones, but you do. I see some teachers do like triangular pyramids. You could do, I usually see more rectangular. And basically when you get a rectangular pyramid, you're going to do a little bit more math, but it's the same idea. It's the same idea. So if I was going to make this a rectangle, oops. Let's get yellow. Right. So this would designate that it's a rectangular pyramid. And the other type of pyramid that you could possibly get is going to be a triangular pyramid, which is a little bit more harder to draw, but let's try it. How it kind of looks with my purple. So you kind of draw, you're going to draw 4 triangles basically. So you kind of start with like this one, and then depending on how big it is, it kind of goes like this. And all those 3 triangles are going to be the same. Now, depending, of course, on the triangle, but you're probably going to get maybe an equilateral triangle. And there you go. And all those other triangles, like this one, this one, this one, they should all have looked the same. But I just realized they really don't. But that's the idea. So that's what the surface area is going to look like. Now, I always find it challenging to try and teach this concept to kids because there's no real set way, there's no real formula. It's about looking at the different pieces. So, what can I say that's going to be helpful to you? This is what I can say when solving. So, why is my pen not working? When solving, draw the net. So actually draw what I just did. And solve each piece. Being organized is really important here. And you won't go wrong. Now it depends on what kind of information is given to you. So for instance, if you were given, I don't want to do that. If you were given, let's make this a nice square pyramid. Right, so this is going to be a super easy square pyramid. You go oops, I want it yellow. I want yellow. There we go. Okay, so you're going to be given the height, and the height is, say, I don't know, 10. And you are given the edge of being, say, 15. And let's say you were also given the slant height. I'll use a different color. I'm getting a little messy. If you're given the slant height, so slant height of, let's see if that edge is that way. What does that have to be? 12. And you're given the base. Gosh, I'm hoping this will work. You're saying that this is a square, and you say this is 8. This should all work out. Then when you open it up, let's go and open this. Let's go and open up this bad boy. Bad boys, bad boys. All right. So this is an 8 by 8 square, right? And we should have all the numbers that we need. Let's go and add in some of the other numbers. So we said the edges were 15. So these were 15. And we said the slant height was 12. We don't even need that. We don't even need that. What did I say the height was? The height was 10. We don't even need the 10 right now. That's later. So now we can go and figure this out, right? I'm going to show you how we're going to figure this out. So this is easy now. Once you've got that, it's easy. Because how many of these triangles do you have? You have 4. Great. So it's base times height. So 8 times 12 divided by 2, which is going to be 48. But then we're going to times that by 4, because there's 4 of them. What's that? 160 and 32, 192. Cool. And we also have this 8 by 8, which is going to give us 64. Then we're going to add 192 plus 64. And I always find, whenever you're doing pyramid questions, it takes a super long time. But when you finish it, you feel really accomplished. You can also sing the Indiana Jones theme song in your head. That is really helpful. Dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so there's your surface area. Boom, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, right? That's when you're given all those kinds of things. But some teachers are not as nice. They are not. And sometimes you will need to use Pythagoras. Yes, it has come back. To solve slant heights, edges, and also all sorts of things. So I'm going to give you a quick little breakdown of what Pythagoras is and how it relates to pyramids. So Pythagoras. If you've seen my other videos, I think I got a video on Pythagoras somewhere. It's c squared equals a squared plus b squared. So we're talking about right angle triangles. And there's my right angle. You have to know that the hypotenuse is always going to be c, which is the long side. So the long side. Okay, super important. It doesn't matter which one is a and b. Okay, so that's what it is. So I know your classic kind of triangle, like this is 5, this is 4, and this is 3. So it's just basically saying 5 squared is equal to 4 squared plus 3 squared, right? So 25 is equal to 16 plus 9, and it is. 25 equals 25, right? So that's what we're kind of talking about. Now, sometimes teachers don't give you one of these, right? Sometimes teachers say, no, I'm not giving you the 4. No, 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 no. I'm going to go and call it x. Right, and then you have to go and solve it. So like this is like x squared. So now you're like, oh, so x squared, and you have to go and do a whole bunch of algebra, right, and figure that out. I'm going fast. I understand that, but that's what sometimes teachers do. And if they did that to you, so you had something like this, then you would have had something that would have looked like this, right? I've just made this really messy. I didn't really want to, but anyways, and you have to go and solve this. So you'd have 16 equals x squared. So here's the point that I wanted to get to. You need to figure out what x is. So depending on your level of math, where you are right now in your math learning, your journey, you may or may not know how to do this. How do you get this just to be x? Well, you do the cool square root button on your calculator. So you got to find that square root button. And when you push the square root button, you figure out the square root of 16. Now most kids just know that as 4. But sometimes you get weird numbers. So figure out your square root button and learn how to do that. Got it? Okay. Whew. That was a lot. That was Pythagoras like within like a minute. How does Pythagoras actually relate to pyramids? I'm glad you asked that. Do we want to do one more Pythagoras? I feel like I've rushed through that. I really do. I'm going to do another Pythagoras example. Why not? Because I want to. And I get to do whatever I want to on these videos. Haha. Okay, so let's say this is 7 and this is 3. And we don't know what this is. So a couple things. Which one is going to be C? Well, a little hint. It's always across from the 90-degree angle sign. So this will be your C. So remember, we have C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. And it doesn't matter which one is A and which one is B. So now we have 7 squared is equal to 3 squared plus B squared. So 49 equals 9 plus B squared. I'm going to go and subtract 9 from both sides. So a little bit of algebra. And I get 40 is equal to b squared. Now this is going to be, oh, this is a good question. Oh, I did a good job in math. Here we go. I just told you you need to use the little magical square root button. So you're going to push the square root button, you're going to do this. Boom, and boom, right? Now, I'm going to tell you what your calculator is going to do to you. Your calculator is going to do one of two things. First off, usually when you have to use the square root, sometimes you need to push the button that says second to get to it, okay? So sometimes, I know on the calculators that I recommend personally, you need to do that. And when you do that, you could get an answer that would say this. And you might look at it going like, what is going on? 2 root 10. This is a very fancy answer. I personally love it because I'm a math geek. But that is not the answer you might be comfortable with. You will be one day. Trust me, you will be. But you might not be yet. So you need to push another special button on your calculator. You need to push some kind of button. If you've got a Casio, I think it's this weird thing that says S to D. I think it's that button. If you have a green TI, if you've got a TI calculator, you want to find the button that is white, that has blue, as I draw this in yellow, that has blue arrows that look like this. And you push that, and you get an answer that's going to be a lot more comfortable possibly for you. That's going to say 6.3 and then a bunch of decimals. So usually when you're first starting out, you're going to feel more comfortable with decimals, but trust me, you're going to want to go to these awesome, super fun, radical answers soon. But anyways, I'm just telling you a little bit to help you out if you had to do that. Okay, that was good. I feel better now. I feel like we can move on to the whole point of this, which was, what does Pythagoras have to do with pyramids? Let's draw another pyramid. You never thought you'd draw so many pyramids, did you? Well, let's just say you had this, and they only gave you, we'll make it a square one again. We'll make it a square one. So it's just a square, and we'll say it's a 5 by 5. So it's 5. And they gave you the height, only the height. And then the height was 10. So let's quickly go and draw this as if I opened it up. So if I opened it up, oh, do I need to give you something else? Yeah, not yet. Okay. So here we go. So if I opened it up, the only thing that you would know is the 5. What else would you need to know to solve this one? What? Oh yes, you would need to know the height, wouldn't you? But you don't have it. So how would you do that? Now here's the fun part. So here's the fun part. You need to go and figure this out. I'm going to try and draw in what's going to be a good color. Green. Oh yeah, green is good. Here we go. I need to know that. So I'm going to fold this triangle. So I'm going to say it's this one right now. See what I've done? I'm going to fold it down. So like if I opened it up, it kind of fell down like that. Does that just make sense? Okay, so that's what I'm going to be doing right now. So I'm going to work on that a little bit. But I want to, I just wanted to show that to you. I'm going to show you this now. So I'm going to show you this. I'm going to draw it like this. I'm going to draw you a cross section inside the pyramid. The cross section is going to give me the slant height, which is what you want. So the cross section is going to be helpful. Do you see what I've just done there? Inside the pyramid, I go up the slant height and I go down this. And what this does is it gives me a 90-degree triangle inside it, like almost like a wedge. So I'm going to go and draw that green triangle right now. And this is what I know. I know this is 10. Now here's the tricky part is I want to know what this is. I'm going to call this, I'll call it C because I'm trying to find out that C. And I need to know what this is right here. So this part is this section right here. So what is that? If this whole thing is 5, this part here is going to be 2.5. So now I can go into my c squared equals 10 squared plus 2.5 squared. So a little bit of calculator work. And I'm going to get c squared is equal to 106.25 squared. I'm going to use that magical button of the square root. I'm going to square root both. And I get approximately, c is approximately 10.3. Okay. So what have I just figured out? I figured out that c, which is going to be this, 10.3. And now I can go and solve that. So now I know that I have 4 of these, and it's base times the height divided by 2. Right, base times height divided by 2. And there's 4 of them, so you're going to get 103. I also know that I have a 5 by 5 square, which is 25. I'm going to add these up and get my answer of 128. I can't believe this came out to a nice, easy, nice, clean number. Units squared. That's pretty awesome. Okay, so that's how Pythagoras goes and fits into that. Now, sometimes you might want to also do this. I'm going to use a blue. Sometimes you might want to find out your edge height. Some teachers will ask you to do that. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw a wedge like this on an angle. I'm going to go up the edge and back down this part. That's pretty neat. So inside pyramids, you're going to be making wedges, and you're going to be using Pythagoras. Yes, you are. Do you want to do something easier? Yes, please. The volume of a pyramid is super easy compared to all that. The volume of your pyramid is simply the formula length times width times height divided by 3. That's it. So, boom. Your last pyramid of this video. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum. We'll make it a rectangular pyramid. Why not? We'll make this 6. We'll make this 4. And we'll give you the height of 8. So it is just length times width times height. So it is just 8 times 4 times 6 divided by 3. That is it. And you'll have noticed that you better have your calculator handy when you're doing all your pyramid questions. Units cubed. Boom. Boom. That's right. Okay, Lara Croft, Indiana Jones. Go and tackle your pyramid questions. Thanks, all you temple runners out there. Until next time, do good things, have a great day, and go subscribe. Go now.